Hello everyone and welcome to the session Extend SAP S4HANA on Stack with the ABAP RESTful application programming model. My name is Marcel Hermanns and I'm part of the ABAP platform team. With me is Volker Drees, also part of the ABAP platform team, and Timothy Santy, which is a lead expert for SAP development from Delaware. So hi Timothy, how are you doing? I heard you have a couple of questions around RAP. So should we start maybe with an overview of your current projects and where RAP is involved?
Yes, hi Marcel and Volker. I'm fine, thanks, and thank you for having me on this session. For the last 2 years, we at Delaware have been investing a lot of time and effort in investigating the Steampunk platform. First of all, we were actively part of the SAP Partner Enablement Program for the business technology platform Steampunk environment. And today we are already active on our own Delaware Steampunk, where we are doing a lot of proof of concepts. Currently, we're looking into developing SaaS applications for our customers running on Steampunk. On the other hand, we are also involved in a second series where we focused on embedded Steampunk, which is the Steampunk environment that runs on the S4HANA public cloud box. We're very enthusiastic here because we at Delaware believe that this is the last piece of the puzzle for extensibility in S4HANA public clouds, because now we are able to leverage our developers and their skill sets to S4HANA public cloud so they can build even more complex extensions for our customers. And all of this goes hand in hand with this new RESTful application programming model. We're thrilled with this new model, as it makes it really easy to onboard new developers, as now they have a clear development model that they can follow if they need to build new RESTful services for example, a Fiori application. We do, however, receive some complaints from our developers that even with this framework, there is still a lot of boilerplate coding to be done. And if we could avoid this in the future, then we could improve the development efficiency even more. So I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that, Marcel?
So thank you, Timothy, for these insights. And regarding the boilerplate coding, maybe Volker, can you show us a demo how I can create a full-fledged working RAP application and OData service by starting on a dedicated database table?
Yeah, hi everybody also from my side. And of course, Marcel, I've prepared a little demo to show you this.
The RAP generator can be used to generate all the artifacts required for a web API as well as a UI service. In our example, we have a database table that already contains certain data. The RAP generator is executed on the database table by a right-click and selecting Generate ABAP Repository Objects. On the first page, we first provide a description as well as we choose the generator to be used. On the second page, we specify all the artifacts to be generated. The base CDS view, the alias used in the behavior definition, the behavior implementation class, the draft table name, the name of the projection view, the name of the service definition, and finally the name of the service binding. On the next page, we see a summary of all the artifacts that are going to be generated. After assigning a transport request, the generation starts. After the generation is finished, we can right-click on the Project Explorer and refresh the project tree. This shows us all the artifacts that have been generated. The generated artifacts are active after the generation. Next thing is to publish the service binding. Once the publishing of the service binding has finished, we can use the Fiori Elements app preview to start the application. As a result, we see a fully CRUD queue enabled application. For instance, we can start editing on record.
So thank you, Volker, very much for this demo about the RAP generator. So what do you think, Timothy? Would this be a good idea for your development teams?
Yeah, for sure, Marcel. I think this is a convenient new feature and it will drastically speed up development of RAP applications. But coming back to embedded Steampunk, I wonder if this RAP generator is also available there and what other scenarios will be supported on embedded Steampunk.
Yeah, thank you again for also this question. Of course, it will also be supported on the embedded steampunk stack. So, and the scenarios which are supported is, first of all, we are able to create new applications. But if you create new applications in embedded steampunk, you of course also want to touch S4HANA, so the content of S4 from S4HANA side. And therefore, S4HANA releases APIs, so CDS views, for example, but also web facades for transactional logic. So you can consume them in your custom code. And last but not least, it's of course also possible to extend web applications from SAP side in the future in your custom coding. So all three scenarios will be supported soon. Does it help you in your current projects, Timothy?
Wait, but so if I understood correctly, this means that I can now consume, for example, the standard SAP sales order business object in embedded steampunk.
Exactly. So I don't know if sales order is already there. Volker, can you give us maybe some insights from the system and maybe provide us also some overview how I can find such an API, where I find this documentation, and how I can use or call such an API?
Right, Marcel, of course. I have prepared a little demo for this as well.
You can easily browse all released objects by expanding the node in the Project Explorer. Under Core Data Services, Behavior Definitions, you find a list of all released RAP BOs available in the system. In this list, you also find the SD sales order. Like every released RAP BO, it has a KTD knowledge transfer document associated to it, providing you comprehensive documentation on how to consume this business object. For the consumption in our own application, we will have a look at a travel example that I have prepared in this embedded steampunk system. In the role as a customer or partner, I have implemented this example in the Z namespace, like you know it from any regular on-premise system. Let me launch the Fiori Elements app preview to show you how I have integrated the sales order into the travel example. The travel app allows you to maintain travels with their corresponding flight bookings. The use case for integrating the standard SAP sales order BO is to create a sales order once a travel is set to status accepted. All bookings will then show up as line items in this sales order. So after setting the travel status to accepted and saving the travel, the sales order is created and the order ID is inserted into the travel as a reference. To verify this, we can jump into the official SAP Managed Sales Order Fiori app, where we find the just created sales order. Opening the app shows, for instance, the sold to party, the customer reference, and so on. On the Items tab, we find both flight bookings with their individual price. For the implementation part, we will jump back into RDT. The behavior definition of our own RAP BO contains a determination create sales order that is triggered during save on change of the field overall status. With Control-click, I can navigate into the implementation. The coding first performs an EML read to fetch the travel header and the booking information. In a sub-method, we prepare the internal tables, orders, and items. With this information, we perform the EML modify create call using the standard SAP sales order BO iSalesOrderTP. Using the element info shows us the KTD document that we have seen before. There we can drill down to the create operation to see what is required when creating sales orders. In the documentation you can find code snippets that I've also used as a starting point for this example. The EML modify create call creates the header record together with the line items. Then we take care about the result and handle messages that might have been thrown. In the success case, we update our own BO instance, marking it as sales order created. Later on in the save sequence, this information is used to fetch the drawn order ID and to update it into the travel record. And that's it.
Thanks again, Volker, for this nice demo about how to consume the sales order API in embedded Steampunk. Timothy, is this what you were thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, this is great, Marcel. It takes the high-level coding in S/4HANA to a new level. But I'm wondering what comes next. Will all these new features be available on the business technology platform Steampunk and even in the S/4HANA on-premise versions?
Great question. I can give you some insights here as well. Yeah, of course, RAP is part of the ABAP platform and it will be deployed to all three versions. So to BTP embedded BTP Steampunk, embedded Steampunk, and of course also the on-premise stack. And what we delivered so far with 2021 is the RAP build scope. That means everything which is required in order to create Fury applications and web APIs. We have a rich feature set, rollout material and documentation, and we also include testability, supportability, and also supportability. And the thing we are currently working on is RAP extend. So that means everything which is required in embedded Steampunk to create your own applications and also to extend SAP applications. You can extend the data model and you could also even extend the behavior of an SAP application. The next big thing for us will be RAP, integrate, and reuse. So we are currently working on the integration with the business events, but also situations, nodes, and other reuse components like change documents and application logs will be included here. So I hope this feeds to your needs of the future projects you're running at Delaware.
Yes, Marcel, and I'm very happy to see that the future of RAP is secured, and we will definitely continue to use this model for our future investments. Do you have some starting point for when and how to use RAP? And I also wonder in what cases it would make sense to migrate existing non-RAP applications.
Yeah, thanks again. Very good questions. There is a blog already available, Get Started with the ABAP RESTful Application Programming Model. And we are currently working on a blog how to migrate your existing application logic, because it's not the task to always or to, in general, to migrate your application logic, but there should be several reasons for that, a really business value add. And this blog will be published soon. So having said that, I would like to thank you, Timothy, and also Volker for joining the session. And I want to thank you, the audience, for joining this TechEd session and have fun with the other sessions as well.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thanks, everyone, also from my side, and enjoy the rest of TechEd.